Welcome back to Positively American. Today, we're going to talk about popular calibers of handgun cartridges, or
ammunition in another word you're looking for.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So today we're going to talk about that, and
Dean's going to talk all about it. He knows so much.
Dean's going to actually tell us all he knows about ammo. Go ahead, Dean.
We don't have enough tape.
Yeah, we don't have tape. Okay.
Yeah, Dean could go for hours.
Let me just tell you what Dean told me.
Okay.
So we'll start from there. Yeah. That is so good. So basically, you really, for handguns, you're either going to have semi-automatic auto loaders, you know, the ones where every time you pull the trigger, it shoots another bullet, and you have to rack it to load it. And then you have revolvers that spin around, wheel guns.
The wagon wheel guns, the Old West. You got to have the Sam Elliott mustache to even talk about those.
Yeah, he won't let me use the word wheel gun.
Nope, Sam Elliott's the only one. If you're listening to Sam Elliott, you're the only one who can talk to about it. Your mustache rules.
Thank you.
So we'll start with semi-auto, and we'll talk about there's 5 that are really the most popular. The smallest is a 22 long rifle, and even though it says long rifle, yeah, you can use it in rifles, but it's also in handguns too. And we'll put a little picture on the screen of what they look like. Oh, one other thing we'd like to add is, you know, we are talking about guns and ammo. We're drinking beers. Well, I'm the only one drinking a beer. So we're talking about ammo and guns, and I'm drinking a beer. But I want you to know, we never mix alcohol and firearms, ever. So if we do them on the same day, it's firearms first, alcohol second. And by the time the alcohol comes up, the firearms are locked away. So
it's just a good safety practice, saves friends, saves lives. And you know, it's just that 1 second, like we've talked before in the video, it just takes 1 second that you'll never ever forget in your life. Probably regret doing it. So just always remember, you're drinking, lock your guns up, put them away. You don't need to show your buddies when you're drinking. Have them over sometime when there's not a lot of people, and just, you know, then do it. It's just a safety reminder for everybody.
Yeah, and just from a legal standpoint, you think about, I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but I would think that even if you were defending your life with a firearm, and it was proved that you were drunk while you were doing it, that could really make life rough.
If you had a Sam Elliott mustache, you could probably get away with it.
That's true, but yeah, just, you don't want to ever have to prove that. But
When you put it that way, it doesn't sound like very good advice.
So we'll start with the 22 long rifle. 22 long rifle, it's a little tiny cartridge, and it's not as loud as some of the other ones. And obviously, it's got the word rifle in it because it is used in rifles too. I think that's what it was originally designed for. But there's also handguns, both revolvers and semi-automatics that use 22 long rifle. And there's people that say, you know, 22 long rifle, it's cheap. That's one thing. So it's fun.
They're cheaper to shoot. Yeah,
it's fun for like target shooting. Some people say, oh, you can't use 22 long rifle to defend yourself. At which point, when someone says that to me, I want to pull out a 22 and say, well, let me shoot you a couple times and tell me if it wasn't that bad. I mean, a bullet's a bullet to some extent.
Thank you for the advice.
Yeah, I mean, there might be situations where someone's coming at you and they're like hopped up on a drug or something like that, and the 22s maybe not going to do the job, but it's deadly. You know, especially if you shot someone in the head, a 22 is deadly. So
all bullets are deadly.
All bullets are, even the small ones. So it's just something to think about. But and the other thing about a 22 is you don't get much felt recoil usually, and no matter how small the gun is, you don't really feel it. So I always, if I'm teaching someone to shoot, the first gun I put in their hand is a 22.
It teaches you the respect of the rifle or pistol. It's not going to knock you on your butt. You don't want to hand somebody a 300 Win Mag as their first gun and say, here you go, let's try to shoot.
Or a 12-gauge shotgun.
Or a 12-gauge shotgun. You work your way up to these things. 22 is a nice, easy one to start with. Actually, if you really want to teach somebody how to shoot a .177 break pellet gun's a great one to start with for kids, for youth.
You'll shoot your eye out. You'll shoot your eye out, kid. Oh, no. You'll shoot your eye out?
start with a 22. That's usually your first gun. And when you hear like older people talk, like myself and others, my first gun was a 22. It wasn't a 300 Win Mag or a 12 gauge or a 50 BMR. You start light. You teach the respect of the gun or the pistol or the rifle, however you want to put it. You teach the respect of how to handle that correctly with a smaller caliber. So that's just kind of my tip.
That's true. Yeah. So 22 is a good starter thing, but I know women who carry concealed carry guns and they're 22s.
Yeah, they are effective.
They are effective. So
also, you can get bird shot with a 22 long rifle for pest control. For like where I live out here, we have moles, birds that are kind of trying to get into the house and everything like that. I mean, it's an all-around really good light-handled gun. I mean, you can rabbit hunt with them, you can rat shoot with them.
What's up, Doc?
A lot of guys go up to the 17 HMRs and all that other stuff rifle-wise, but a 22 will do it. You may need to be a little bit closer. If you're dialed in, it'll pack a punch.
Oh yeah, and really, if you're talking self-defense, which is a lot of what I'm talking about today, you
hey, that rabbit could give you a dirty look and it'd be all over.
If you're talking self-defense, you're talking like this close.
Yeah,
so
it's still going to hurt like hell.
Yeah, and it's going to hopefully stop the attacker from doing what they're doing. Now, if you go up a step from a 22, we're talking about a 380 ACP, which is essentially a 9mm. The bullet is the same as a 9mm, but it is it's a shorter case, and it's got less
brass.
Yeah, shorter brass, and it has less gunpowder in it, so it's not as powerful physically as a 9mm. But
it packs a punch with your defense rounds.
And nowadays, I guess in the old days when everyone shot with the ball ammo, the 380 ACP, it just sort of put a hole through people and things, and that may not necessarily stop someone.
That was a 22.
That was a 22 bug zapper right
22
there.
22 bug zapper.
Yep,
Yeah,
America.
We shoot all the bugs with 22s.
Yep.
But a 380, nowadays they have these self-defense rounds that expand on impact, and there's something to be reckoned with. So they can save your life. So
it's like something, if you're and I don't mean to be sexist in any way, if you're a lady or a woman and you don't want to handle a big 9mm, my wife carries a 380 with her. They're smaller, they're easier to carry. They do pack a wallop to them. So for her self-defense gun, she walks around with a 380 as her concealed.
yeah,
And it's an easy gun to handle too. It's easy to shoot. Not a huge recoil. There is a recoil with it, but it's a lot easier for her to handle. And I also have 380. I love shooting my 380, but with the ammo shortage, I kind of hold off on shooting it.
Yeah, 380 ammo is really hard to find right now, especially self-defense rounds. So the thing is and the other thing is, as you go smaller, like the 22 and the 380, you're going to get smaller form guns too. So like I have like a 9mm that I carry with me on most days when I'm wearing like jeans, and I wear inside the waistband holster.
And if you look at the video, you see Joe's belly where he carries it.
Yeah, you'll see a little bump now. And then if I'm going to just be wearing shorts, I'm on vacation, I'm just wearing shorts, I want to have a smaller like pocket gun, and a 380 is a great pocket gun.
Compared to the 9mm,
Yeah, I mean, it's better than 22, I think, but it's everything. It's pretty close to a 9mm, so it's good enough when you need it. Then we'll talk about 9mm. So 9mm is like the standard.
Popular.
Yeah.
Popular.
The most popular handgun ammunition in the world. I think in the old days, a 9mm really wasn't, and it was because the technology wasn't as advanced as it is now.
The handguns weren't what they are now.
But now with the ballistics technology, a 9mm. I mean, most police carry 9mm. FBI carries 9mm.
Yep.
What do the police think?
The LAPD, the police department.
It's an all-around really good defense round. The technology of the pistols and the semi-automatics, I mean, they're so subcompact, most of them. I carry a Kimber 9mm micro. I like it. It's comfortable on my hip. 9mm, it's a little bit more available out there. Even with the shortage, I mean, it would trickle in. Things will get better. I'm for sure on that. So 9mm, very popular, easy to carry for a defense round.
True. So yeah, I mean, if you're gonna buy a gun, and you're thinking, I want to buy a gun where I can get ammo pretty easily right now.
Desert Eagle.
That's not even on the list.
Oh, sorry about that. Sorry, I got a little carried
So
away.
if you take a step up from 9mm, you go to 40 caliber. And back those days when the FBI decided, they started off with 9mm and they were like, oh, you know what? Well, actually started off with 38 specials and 357s. But when they went to semi-automatic handguns, they used 9mm, and they realized that they weren't effective enough. So they went up to a 40 caliber. I think someone went up to 10mm and someone went to a 40 caliber. But the problem is, a 40 caliber packs a bigger punch, but they were finding that their agents couldn't hit the targets with a 40 caliber. It wasn't as, especially in a follow-up shot, they couldn't hit.
What did you just say about the FBI, huh?
So they were so they waited a little while. The 9mm technology advanced and then became, similar in damage to a 40 caliber. And so now they're back to 9mm. They went back to 9mm.
Yep. 40 caliber. It's a good semi-automatic, and I mean they're amazing. They do pack a punch. When you fire it, you will know that you fired it.
Yeah.
It's a little bit less than a 45 cal, but I mean it's still it packs one hell of a punch with that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then of course he mentioned the 45 caliber ACP. That round. That you'll find in a lot of 1911 guns. And
1911 styles,
yeah. 1911 style guns.
Defense round, I mean, good luck surviving that one because it's nasty. I know a gentleman who carries actually 2 of them on him at all times as his concealed, and every time you give him a big bear hug, it's like, whoa, there it is. That guy, yeah.
Yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah, you've met that guy. So, he's not a very big guy, but yeah.
But he's got 245.
245 strapped to him. So, but yeah, the 45, it usually comes in the 1911 style.
Mm-hmm.
They are a really good gun.
Mm-hmm.
The ammo, I mean, it is available. Seems like 45, the 9mm and the 22 are more readily available than the 380 and the 40 caliber in our state. We'll say in Oregon where we are. It's with the shortage and everything. Even 45s, I mean, they're getting a little bit harder to find right now, but they are slowly coming back.
Yeah.
The guns, it matches the weight to the caliber when you're shooting like the 1911s. It does match up well. Like I was going to say, if you're a smaller person or, somebody who is really not too sure about themselves, with your first concealed or your first handgun, whatever, you don't want to shoot a 45 caliber. You really got to kind of work up to that.
Right.
Right.
That is a big gun.
Just a normal big gun.
If you are concerned about like sound and you want to, I think this wouldn't be for like concealed carry, but if you wanted to attach a suppressor or what's commonly known as a silencer to your gun.
John Wick.
John Wick.
John Wick.
John Wick?
Yes, John Wick, that's right.
Or your John Wick. A 45 is, every 45 is subsonic. It never breaks the sound barrier because it's such a big caliber round. So so they're quiet. They don't make a they don't make a little mini sonic boom when you shoot them. So if you put a suppressor on them, they're really quiet.
They're really quiet, but still, yet it's not like the movies where it's like. It's like boom. You'll still hear it.
If you suppress a 22, it'll kind of sound like the movies.
It's a little clicky. Yeah, you still hear the crack.
You hear the action, and then and with 22, you got to be careful what you're shopping. You got to find specifically subsonic 22.
Yes.
Otherwise, it'll make that crack sound.
I'm sure you'll do an episode on silencers. I think that'd be kind of interesting and give kind of a field test about what we hear. Joe's got lots of money. He didn't get the camera he wanted, so he'll be buying suppressors. You're welcome, Becky.
And in the ATF, you're welcome.
Yeah. Oh, heck yeah.
It gives them business. They got to look me up.
Heck yeah.
I knew then that was why ATF was a success.
So those are basically 22 long rifle, 380 ACP, 9mm, 40 caliber, and 45 caliber ACP.
I think that was a 40 caliber in the Bug zapper.
Yes,
America. Everybody's got to have a bug zapper.
We should do a live stream of just.
Oh,
the bug zapper.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So that's pretty much what we think are the most popular rounds for semi-automatics. For revolvers, of course, you can get revolvers with 22 long rifle.
Yep.
But the two most popular are 38 specials and 357 magnums.
Which I remember is Joe's first gun that he pistol that he purchased was a 38 special.
Yeah.
And the first complaint was, that hurt my hand.
Yeah, because it was a small little gun, really light little gun with a 38 special. It's got quite a. If you look at, we'll put it on the screen. If you look at the difference between a 38 special and like a 9mm, there's more room for gunpowder in a 38 special.
Yeah, and it's a snub nose. I mean, it's a great little defense pistol if you're going to shoot it. It's not designed for plinking.
It's not fun.
Not my style of plinking. Yeah, I mean, unless you got big gorilla hands, maybe like Dean or something, you know, he can conceal it in his hands. But for one of your first guns, I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, they're a great little self-defense round. I mean, you always, watch the older movies, and it's always the 38 special.
Yeah, that's what the police. It was a good band too.
Yeah, it was a great band. Yeah.
But the police back in the day, that's all they used was 38 specials. That was the main.
That was their sidearm carry.
You carry a 38 special, don't you, Kyle?
So the thing about you got to think about when you're buying a gun and you're thinking about the ammo for it is sometimes you'll be thinking, whoa, it's a small little gun, it's not gonna kick as much. But actually, the smaller the gun, usually the more it kicks, because the gun, if the gun doesn't have a lot of mass, there's nothing to absorb the recoil.
It is purely science.
And it ain't rocket science, for Christ's sake.
And so that's why my hands hurt when I think it's an 11-ounce gun.
It's tiny.
Yeah, and man,
when he brought it out, I laughed my butt off. I was like, this is gonna hurt.
I know.
About the third shot in, he goes, God, my hand really hurts. I go, no duh.
My hand would hurt for like 3 days after, just sore in that area right there.
Yeah. So, if you're considering, for self-defense and you're gonna fire it off, oh yeah. Protection-wise, I'd say yes. For plinking, no.
Yeah.
In target practice, you're only going to shoot it a couple times because you'll be like, wow.
And if you don't feel comfortable, if it's going to hurt your hand when you're using it for target practice, then you're not going to get the practice you need to be confident with the gun if you needed it for self-defense.
Correct.
So, and then the 357 Magnum, which I actually shot a 44 Magnum, which is even more.
All right, Dirty Harry.
No, that hurts like, wow, that was big. But I've never shot a 357 Magnum.
No, they pack a hell of a punch. It'll.
You have?
Yeah, I have. They do pack a punch. They're, wow.
It's basically a 38 special on steroids.
It is. It's very loud. It's got a hell of a kick to it. Once you shoot once, my thing I think about is, so if I shoot it one time, I'm being attacked, or I'm, an animal in the woods, I don't know, if I'm protecting myself and I get my first shot off, I don't want the recoil so bad that I can't focus and connect the second shot right away. I don't want it to be like boom, boom, boom.
Right.
I want it to be on target. I want to feel comfortable with what I'm doing and how I'm shooting. Some of these that pack big punches, I lose track. It's like I can sit there and fire one, but then I got to take that other couple seconds to get back on target again because that recoil was so big and bad. And I'm thinking, God, my hands hurt, and I got to protect myself. Maybe it's different in an adrenaline situation, but for me, it's like I want to focus. That's why I steer closer to, say, the 40 caliber, the 9mm, the 380. In a defense situation, that's what I'd use. Plinking wise, I love the 22. I like the 380. I like the 9mm. I'm comfortable with those threes.
Yeah.
If I go bigger, then I'm seriously going to take out whatever is going to attack.
Go big or go home, huh?
Go big or go home.
And you were saying that you wondered if it was worse in in an adrenaline situation. I think it's about the same, because the FBI, they were using the 40 caliber and they were finding that their agents couldn't get good follow-up shots.
Yeah, you were saying that. They couldn't get the next shot in the right. I think it's too much of a shock to the system.
Yeah, and you just...
Not with a Desert Eagle, though. Oh, Desert Eagle, so smooth, Wow.
We'll have to...
I can't even hold one of those, folks. I have tried, and I handed it right back. I said, I am not going to shoot this. I like my wrists too much.
Yeah.
That is a hell of a gun. It's a cannon.
It's like shooting a
cannon.
Rifle.
It's a cannon.
It's a rifle that you shoot with one hand. It's like, oh. So yeah, so 22 long rifle, 38 special, 357 Magnum for revolvers. Those are our 3 favorite or popular ones.
Yeah, and that's what Dean was going to say the whole time.
That's Dean. Yeah.
I thought we were right on track as soon as you mentioned Sam Elliott and Dirty Harry.
Yeah.
The subject was covered.
Because Dirty Harry was the 44 Magnum, right?
Well, Dirty Harry didn't have a mustache, but you still wouldn't cross Clint Eastwood. No.
You don't get a Dirty Harriet.
You sounded like Dirty Harry just then.
You've got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Yeah.
Nope, you would not cross him. You wouldn't cross Sam Elliott.
Yeah, I got to shoot a 44 Magnum in one of my NRA instructor classes. The instructor's instructor he would let us shoot any one of his guns, and I was like, "What's that one?" And he's like, "That's a 44 Magnum." I said, "Well, that looks like fun."
Yeah, it wasn't.
Whoa, it was not fun. No. Although it hurt less than my little gun.
True.
Because it was just so big, but it's not good for concealed carry.
Yeah.
It's a huge pistol.
But
so,
to kind of wrap it up, I mean, there's your choices right there, like we suggested. Yeah, there's our bug zapper again. Like we suggested, start small if you're beginning in this and you're looking for a self-defense gun.
Yeah.
Make sure, number 1, you take your class. Number 2, make sure you're comfortable with your firearm. If somebody has that caliber or can teach you, I'm sure there's plenty of instructors out there that would let you handle a 22, a 380, and a 9mm, or the 40 or the 45. Get what suits you and what you feel comfortable. The bullet will always do the damage.
Yeah, accuracy is the most important thing.
Accuracy, and then be safe out there. Don't put yourself in the situation. That's the biggest thing.
You're right.
Don't try to be the hero. Don't, that is a critical time for you to decide. That's your split second in your mind to say, I'm going to step in and do this. You take a huge commitment and a huge risk with it.
Yeah.
So, but as a self-defense round, if somebody breaks into your home, you want the stopping power, you want them out, and any one of these will do it.
Yeah, if you're accurate with where you're shooting, they'll all work.
Exactly. So,
yeah.
Stay positive, America. And hope you enjoyed this little review right here. And God, Dean, you know so much about.
I know, he just wouldn't shut up.
Wow, holy goodness.
Yeah.
So.
And if you have any questions about guns, about ammo, anything like that,
ask Dean.
Ask Dean.
Dean will know it.
Make sure in the comments you write, Dean, we have an ammo question.
Yeah.
Dean, we have a...
No, but ask Joe.
Seriously,
we'll get you an answer. We can put all our heads together if we're not the great, or we'll find somebody who can answer for you.
Yeah.
So don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below, comment down below. We love bringing this show to you. Stay positive, America.
Yeah. See you next time. God, it's so good.